So the subject is how is Brexit affecting European entrepreneurship in the UK? Today we are very happy at the European Forum to welcome Senator Cadic. The subject, a little bit more about the subject. So businesses in the UK have been facing the twin force, the COVID-19 pandemic and the end of the Brexit transition period. One group encountering particular headwinds have been European entrepreneurs in the UK who had previously been attracted to the country in large numbers. With new restrictions on the freedom of movement in place, the movement of talents across borders is now being restrained, not to mention the much less beneficial UK-EU trade terms. Someone who has been following these developments closely is Olivier Cadic, a French senator representing French citizens abroad and himself a French entrepreneur who founded a publishing business, Cinebook, in the UK back in 2005. Senator Cadic will share his views with the NLC European Forum on how the latest developments will impact businesses who've been previously striving on the back of open borders and extensive cross-border cooperation. Olivier Cadic was elected representative to French citizens living in the UK to the Assembly of French Citizens Abroad in 2006 and has been a senator since 2014. At the French Senate, he's currently the vice chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Defense and the Armed Force, president of the French Gulf States Inter-Parliamentary Friendship Group and member of the monitoring group of the new EU-UK relationship. We are very happy to welcome Senator Cadic. So he will give a short presentation and then people will have the possibility to ask questions. If you want to ask a question, please come to me, send me a little remark, a little note on the chat so we don't have everybody asking their question, and then I will hand them to Senator Cadic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. May I start?
Sure.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just may add that I'm also now board member of the French Institute, and I'm very happy about it. So just to start, before to become a senator, I'm an entrepreneur. I started my business when I was 20 years old. It was in '82. 1 year earlier, I was 19, I designed the printed circuit board of the head of Exocet missile, which was used during Falklands War. And I realized I had the capacity to, with computers at that time, to go faster than people who worked in a different way. And I started my business. I worked for many weapon development, but also telephones. So we had many jobs to do. I worked with Roland Moreno, who invented the smart card. In '93, as you know, we opened the borders. It was the unique market who started. So even 11 years after I started. And I started to realize that we were more and more in competition with European competitors. And I visited one of my suppliers in UK in '96, and I asked him, what is the rate, your corporate tax rate, and how much do you pay for the social expenses on the top of the salary? And the guy told me he managed his company. He said, I don't know. And I was really surprised because as a business owner, my first cost after salaries were the social expenses. He told me, please call my chartered accountant and he will tell you, and he will be happy because he speaks French. So we talked together and he gave me the rate. It was at that time 10.5% on the top of the salary for the social expenses, and in France it was 43%. And when I asked him about corporate tax, he told me it's 24%, and for me it was 33%. And I said, okay, so what's wrong? What do you have in the top of that? He said, that's it. We have maybe the business rate, but it depends on your location. I said, yeah, I have the professional tax. It's the same, but I have a lot of tax, additional tax. And he said, no, that's it. So when I came back to Paris, I said to the industry minister, look at the difference. If I have exactly the same tax as they have in UK, I can, instead of having 400,000 French francs, let's say 40,000 sterling as profit after tax in France, it would be 4 times this amount. And he said, yeah, but we don't care because that's the way we are organized. So I discussed and I moved to Kent, 2 hours from Paris with Eurostar. And because they said they didn't want to take care about it, I said, okay, I will have to move to UK to be competitive because my customers asked me to be more competitive. So I will move to Kent, but I will explain to people why I have to come, because it's not my decision, it's a forced decision. And I did a press conference, and I created an organization called the Free France for Enterprise, La France Libre d'Entreprendre. And I helped more than 1,000 of businesses, of French businesses, to start in UK at that time. And then I moved my business. I went on internet. I raised 10 million euros. I did an exit. I sold all my assets in 2005. And then I decided to start a new business in publishing. And now if you know who Lucky Luke is, Lucky Luke in English, this is me now. So I'm the first right buyer of comic books from France and Belgium. I translate them into English and I sell them all over the world. I say to my wife, because when I sold my businesses, I said I retire. I don't want to, I just want to focus myself on writing. And she said, no, we have to do a job. I said, okay, we do this job, but it would be a no paper, no people business. And my company, we work for now 15 years. We all have, we do everything with freelance people, everything. And we manage the company with a laptop, and we are free. We can manage our company from everywhere. And that's the way I work. So I'm a senator. When I arrived in the French Senate, I discovered politics in the parliament. And to be honest, as an entrepreneur, my feeling was that I was in a psychiatric hospital. Very interesting politics when you arrive as an entrepreneur. Because you see people, they talk together, you feel that they talk for the other. You think they will try to convince him, but not at all. They know they will not convince him. They talk for someone outside. They don't want to together for success. They have their own business, that people who vote for them, these are their customers. And we have the feeling that we do many things, like amendments to the laws, law proposal, but we know we have no chance of success. And we work, it's like a factory, but with no quality system. I said we have a law factory. Who is in charge of quality? Who check that why we vote for a law? How much will it cost? Do we have money when the law is passed? Does it work? How much does it cost? Is it good for the people? So it's not working like a real business. So for me, it was a real shock when I started. And I represent the French living abroad. My constituency is a world. I went through 98 countries in fact, in 6 years' time, 405 trips. And as an entrepreneur, as I had the feeling that it was very difficult to change the laws because the system is really is designed by, in fact, the minister, the government, they propose the laws. So for me as an entrepreneur, I had the feeling that it's very difficult to have a result. And I need to show a result to the electors, to have the feeling that if I worked 6 years' time as a member of parliament, I need to have a result. This is very important. So I decided that in every country I go to, I have to have a project. It can be, for example, for soft power. It can be to create a French school. So I had to create a new French school in Romania, in Belgium. I had to create new French alliance, like in Cambodia. It can be on economic diplomacy. I had to create a chamber of commerce in Mozambique. I had to promote some partnerships between countries, create some, for example, fiscal agreement between some countries and France. It can be as consulate affairs and security. For example, in Madagascar, in 1 year, we had 8 French businessmen who were raped and 4 who were killed. So I went to meet the Prime Minister in Madagascar to get someone designed to work on these cases, to find solution to stop these issues. And we were successful. 1 year later, I came back, and I really thank the Prime Minister because they did it. And we no longer have this kind of problem. So you see, it's you can work. At that time, I find my way. I found my way to have the feeling that being in Parliament, I could come back to electors and say, yes, all together we worked on project and we achieved something. In UK, my project, it was a new project. It happened in 2016. It's Brexit. How to face this new environment. We were under shock. In the morning when we learned the Brexit, my daughter, who was raised in UK since age 4, she cried during more than 1 hour. She couldn't stop. What will be our future? I organized conferences in UK. I had a lot of French people who came, people I never met before, because they had the feeling that they didn't need me. They were in UK, they feel like at home, and they didn't need to really see and meet their representative. They went. I had 1,000 of people coming to conferences, and we had to face this new situation. So I helped Nicolas Hatton to start the 3 million, because as a French member of parliament, I can't, if I can't discuss political decision in UK. So I helped the French citizen to organize and to discuss, to protect their rights, to be sure their rights would be protected. As Jean mentioned, I was in the Brexit committee in the parliament, and I had to admit that, okay, the decision was taken, but I wish to guarantee the rights of the people like me who came to UK in trust, in confidence. And you have to understand that for us, it was very difficult, a feeling that we were rejected somewhere, not welcome as we were before. It was a strange feeling. And our wish is the best for UK. So to be sure that we saw the country is divided, we thought that this country has to come back as one, it will be difficult. Will we be able to stay there? And I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Rees-Mogg 2 years ago. And I asked him, please, let me know, give me one reason. I don't ask 2, 3, 5, one good reason for me as a French businessman who decided to move to UK. One good reason to understand Brexit. And he told me you will be free with Brexit. And now Brexit is there. What do I see? I noticed that I'm lucky. I sell books. My books are printed on the continent in EU. So I have to import now books to UK. And we are in our organization, the books are sold, are distributed all over the world from UK. So that's the way we are organized. But now, for the first time, I receive an invoice, custom invoice. I have cost, additional cost. I have to fill papers. I have to fill papers. I print in EU. I have to bring them to London to ship, for example, to US. So you can understand that we are now it's more complicated. We had to wait 24th of December to discover we have a deal. I left UK on 23rd of December because I had to go for Christmas. I was thinking I leave UK just for 8 days because I plan to come back early January. I'm at the moment in Paris. I had not the opportunity to come back since that time. What has changed? Because on the top of Brexit, now we have COVID. It's additional layer of complexity and problem. Now I have to pay test if I want to go to UK, because I have because the problem is I have to go to UK and I have to go back to EU. I'm free. Remember, I came to UK. We were in EU. I was free. I had a free movement. So now I have to pay. I have to pay £200 if I want to go back to make test. I have to stay there some time. Then I will have to go back. So it's an additional problem of movement. This is not the case, for example, if I want to go to Germany or Netherlands. I have not to do this, to pay this kind of test. And so this is additional problem. When I discuss with French businessmen who are in UK at the moment, they tell me that they needed interns from France, for example, to help them to develop their businesses. It's no longer possible for them. So they are starting to discuss about how they will be able to grow if they are no longer in capacity to do this. I personally have to rethink how to avoid UK to organize logistics when the final customers are not in UK. like we see that people who want to, in fact, to send products to Ireland now try to go direct with ships direct from France to Ireland to avoid UK. So this is something we start to see, how to avoid UK. And remember that, in fact, before, why you came to UK, because it was easy. You go to UK and then it's easy to go all over the world. So now you have to think different. And I rethink, and so I think for my logistic, it may benefit to Netherlands, to be honest, because it's printed in EU, and maybe Netherlands will take advantage of this. So then we can ship to North America, and we have to review this. But I rethink to read small quotes. You'll be free. My quote, my personal quote, you see, my motto is freedom finds always its way. And that's what I said when I left France to UK. And I think that today, this way may ignore UK. And we face a huge challenge. And because I still believe we face a challenge. We have to face it. I think all together. I'm happy to discuss with you. We still have the feeling that we have we just have sorrow. We feel sorrow at the moment about the situation. But we have to think how we will organize the future together. Because now at the moment, many people are thinking about how do I avoid, in fact, to go through UK, more complicated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Cadic. So we have, for now, we have 4 questions. The first question will be by Nick Hopkinson. He's former director of Hilton Park, Foreign and Commonwealth Office, national executive member of the European Movement, UK, and former chair, Liberal Democrat European Group. Nick, please ask the question you want.
Okay, thank you, Jean, and thank you very much indeed, Senator Cadic, for those remarks. All I can say is we very much share the pain of EU 27 nationals resident in this country, and some of the pain is obviously we still live here. We experience the day-to-day impact of Brexit. The 48% were also many of them were not made to feel terribly welcome, but I try and look at this a bit optimistically, and that is just to say that because we left the EU doesn't mean that Brexit is forever. It's part of our island's historical ebb and flow of engagement with the continent, and 56% of British people now think that Brexit was a mistake, and that figure will likely grow as the full impact of Brexit is felt. On free movement of people, that's very much at the heart of Brexiter concerns, and is wrapped up with the 4 freedoms package. And if ever there is to be free movement again, it would be more part of a single market membership, which would be very much towards a later stage of any rejoining process. So my question is really for you, as you're on the monitoring group of the EU-UK relationship. What areas do you see for closer cooperation and alignment in the shorter terms? How can we stay as close as possible? What do you think is feasible? We have a tall mountain to climb at the moment, but Where do you think we might make some shorter term gains, and what's the lower hanging fruit?
My problem, I was on a TV program yesterday, and we talked about, we had 3 French people. One was in Israel, one in China, and one in London. And I compared the situation of everyone in, in Israel. They just, now Tel Aviv airport is closed. You can't leave, you can't go in, you can't go out. They talked about China. And the guy was happy with his phone because he went somewhere, they had the COVID, so it turned red, he can't go anymore in any shop. He said, yeah, it's okay. And there's UK, and I said, in UK today, I have to pay. But if I want to go to, if I come from 23 countries, or if I want to go to Scotland, I have to go in a hotel during 10 days, I have to pay £2,000. Impossible in UK, in EU to do that. What do I see in the world? I see that countries are closing their borders, and they arrange decision to avoid that people go in and out. So my problem is nationalism, and I see nationalism rising in the world thanks to COVID. And what I think, what is a challenge for you is to avoid that your country go in this direction. I don't believe in the future of Britain first. I don't believe in the future of France first. We are all in the same world now. Everything we share now the same problem. They are global problems. I think it's really important to understand this. My goal is to be sure that we stay as close as possible to UK for any diplomatic issue and every military issues, because I anticipate that the future will be very difficult. We see that China now tries to use their power to, in fact, to drive the world to a way we will not like. This is not. I think we believe in democracy, and we have to fight hard to keep it, because in front of us they are rising up. And that's my feeling. I visited 98 countries. I was in Mali and I was in Burkina Faso last month because I was evaluating Barkhane operations. So I see how the terrorism is developing. I see how China is winning about the situation. So I think we have to stay as close as possible, because we still have the same values. And personally, I will work to keep EU aligned with UK as much as possible. But if in UK the nationalism is winning, then it will be very difficult. But I want to tell you, and I want to share this with you, we face exactly the same problem in France. Next year, we will have general election, presidential election. And I said this week, I said to a former minister of François Hollande that I was really worrying about next year's election. And he said Mrs. Le Pen would never be elected as president. I said one day before Brexit happened, I said it will never happen because people will anticipate the problem it will generate. So I did the same mistake. So it's very difficult to go and to say to someone else what he has to do. We also have to face our own challenges. So that's, I tell you, think about it, fight against nationalism. And I have to do the same job in-house.
Thank you very much. We have another question now from Subbu Loganathan. He's the CEO of Pico Analytics, a sustainable finance advisory firm for EU and UK companies.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you, Senator, for such an insightful talk. And I second Nick's view that there is a very big and ever-growing majority of people in the UK who have since reversed or have always opposed Brexit. My question is around smaller services firms like ours, because we provide financial services analytics both to UK and firms in France, Portugal, Ireland, etc. And since Brexit, both among our clients and among our staff, we have seen increasing concern around regulatory changes, regulatory divergence. And what would your advice be for smaller services firms like ours? And what can we expect in terms of regulations?
In terms of regulations, where?
Regulatory changes between the UK and the EU for services firms, because we're already seeing so many changes. We just wanted to know what to expect, what kind of regulatory changes to expect.
I'm not so sure to catch what you mean, because the deal is done, and you said in services, for some services.
In finance, yeah, in finance, yeah. Financial services,
yeah,
like in banking.
Yeah, as what I understood, because the deal has been done, and now they come to us. In fact, we will discuss this issue next week in the Senate, and I will talk for my group on where we are, because as you know, the text is not submitted to the French Parliament. It's only submitted to EU Parliament. We don't have to approve it. It's not. This is why maybe Mr. Rees-Mogg says it's not freedom for us, but in fact, this is something we accept because we work as a whole for trading, and so I understand that everything has not been completely defined because it has been done in 11 months. As you may know, it's a record. It never happened. We had Mr. Barnier last week, and he said it never happened so fast in our history. So for sure, everything. When I left on 23rd of December, we had no deal. So 24th of December, you had a deal. I'm not so sure that people who voted in the British Parliament have read all the documents before to vote for it. So it's we had no chance to vote for, but some people have voted for text. I'm sure they did not read it. But remember, psychiatric hospital. So it's sometimes for you, it's you are in an environment. This is not the way it works in a real company, a real business. That's politics. You can't compare. It's very different, a different world. So for you, you expect answers for, so for politics, answers will come. Okay. So for sure we will have to fix. So we discover problems and we fix problems. So I understand that for finance, it was not really in the deal. But there is not only finance. I understand that in energy we have also some powers on this. Because they wished, I don't want to blame British government, because all government are fighting for their country, so they try to protect, to get the best for their country. So, but in EU we have to have a different approach. We have to have a common approach, not only us. It has to be shared. So in the deal, to get a deal done, so they had finally, because the clock is ticking, as said Mr. Barnier every time. So they had to finally find a deal, because they realized it would be a disaster. For me, a no deal was a disaster. They said it's better no deal than a bad deal. But I said, but no deal is a worse deal. So it's not a better deal than a bad deal. This is the worst, and the deal is a bad deal. It's a lose-lose deal. We have all lost with this deal, and now so we try to because it was the first time that a country was leaving the EU, so we had to make it happen. To be because we are a democracy, so it has to happen. But we have also to protect the EU, because we didn't vote for to accept that EU was leaving. And I have to say it was a real issue, because I was in a disagreement with this vote, because you did not ask us if we accept that you leave, So we have to, we had to finally to make a deal. I put a lot of pressure on Michel Barnier, and on our minister for EU, for European affairs. You can see every question I every time said, no deal is a worse deal. Do a bad deal. It's better than the worst deal. So they did a deal, but they protected. They had they said we have to find a solution for Ireland, we have to find a solution for citizens, because if we have no deal, we can't be sure about protection for citizens. So finally we have a deal. For finance, I understand that UK is not in a good position with this deal. But I believe that they will lose, and we start to see that now London is no longer the first financial place in Europe. So Amsterdam took the lead. I think we will have to adjust. I will support every positive agreement. I will look at the situation. We have to avoid that UK is hurt or British are hurt, because I think it will not be good. Because I think about the future, and that one day or another, UK will come back and join. Because as you said at the beginning, 48% of the people voted to stay. What a vote did, another vote can change. And we have to look at the situation. They did the deal in a hurry. And so they did the deal. So I understand that we are not in a bad position. We may be in a difficult situation, for example, for fishermen. But if they activate that, we have so many other counter, action possible for. So that I think that we will always have a deal in final. So I wish that they find a solution for this kind of regulation. And I will always try to be sure that they don't hurt British interest, because this is not our interest that British are hurt with the fact that there is a deal. Because I don't think Britain first. I think people first.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions, and then maybe with one. I have actually 10 questions, so maybe we're just going to do the 2 first. First one is from Janet Berridge, the former chair of the National Liberal Club, and the other one is from Benedict Bartelmest, an economist.
Thank you very much, Senator Cadic. That was very interesting. In a way, my question has been answered, but I'd still like to put it to you. Just for your information, I spent a great deal of my adult life living in Germany, and then I came back to the UK and lived in Kent, like you do, during which time I was chairman of the National Liberal Club. And I too was horrified, appalled, and saddened by the Brexit vote. And since 2018, I have been living in Germany again. I have moved here permanently because I cannot stand the Britain first or England first mentality in the UK. But what you mentioned, the reason that you had originally moved to England or to the UK, surely that's part of the problem, that the UK has this very pro-business stance. If they allow companies to have very low business rates and low social costs, that means that businesses make more profit perhaps, but they don't share that with their employees. There's a huge inequality in the UK. It's larger than in most countries in Europe between the haves and the have-nots. I am happy to live in a country where I pay more tax than I would ever have paid in the UK. But I'm happy to live here because I pay tax and I get something for it. I get decent public services. And I want to live in a country where things are more equal. And to me, that is the advantage of the EU. So for what you and I would hope might happen one day, that is the UK to rejoin the EU, there has to be a change of thinking, which isn't likely to happen in part of the political class, but people must come to see that you can't have a tiny percentage of the population who have huge wealth, and then everybody else has to share what's left. Would you agree that basically the values of the EU are very much fairer for its citizens than those in the UK?
It's interesting because it would say that in fact, as we are the country who tax the most their citizens, we would be very happy because we are I think we are the most. We don't experiment this description as you did for UK, and we have in fact we face the same problems. So I would like to make it easy, but I think it's a bit more complicated. If I left, it was not really to not pay tax, because if I did not want to pay tax, I would not come to UK. I had multiple different choices in that case. At that time, I had the feeling that I participated to something to develop the free enterprise. Less regulations, easy to start a business, easy to develop it. And that was the real reason I was there. And that's why I attracted so many businesses. I said, you know, in 90s, you had a 3 wave of French coming to UK. Huguenots, number 1, French Revolution, number 2, Eurostar generation, number 3. We saw this move, and they participated to the fact that the city became the number 1 in the finance. And what I see in EU is it's not a question of tax, because when you discuss with Dutch, for example, or Luxembourg, or different countries in EU, they may have a different approach to the organization of the society compared to what you mentioned. And that's what I like in EU. You have a diversity. And that's the motto, united in diversity. And I think it's good, because some French politics wish that EU is like France. And I don't think it's we have the best system. We have a system who's pleasing many people, and that's right. But for me, freedom is to have the choice in different systems. But it's not a nice country. You are not pleased to live in a country when people suffer. And that's why I said people first is not to say, okay, we have to forget ourselves, but we have to think to everyone. Okay, so that's my view, my vision. But it's, again, when I came to UK, I came to share a dream, not only to escape tax. It was not that. And the tax I didn't pay, it was to reinvest. It was to pay better my people, to be cheaper for my customers. It was, I could have more money to invest. That was the vision. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a last question from Benedict Barthelmess, and then we'll have final words with Emily Robertson. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you, Senator Cadic, for your very insightful presentation. I will keep my question very brief. The UK has historically been very successful at putting itself at the center of global supply chains, and you already mentioned from the perspective of your business that there's clearly been an impact on how your business operates, and you essentially had to shift your supply chain to some extent. And I was wondering whether you could elaborate a little bit on this and give us your view on how you see supply chains being further impacted due to Brexit. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm sorry, but when you talked, I had a phone call. It stopped, and I couldn't hear you, so I lost.
No problem. I will repeat my question. So you mentioned how your business has been impacted in terms of its supply chain, and I was wondering whether you could comment in perhaps slightly more general terms on how you see supply chains being impacted due to Brexit?
If you go to Calais, you see, you start to see the issue. It's easy to go from Spain to France to Germany. You have nothing to do, no paper. So if I have to ship products to US, for example, will I fill papers? Will I do some custom paper to go to UK, then to ship to US? So for sure, and it was just the beginning. What when you see, for example, Ireland, what's going on with Ireland? I think it's Dunkirk Harbour, who already have 50% additional traffic to compare to last year. I think they have they took advantages of Brexit. So, and this is just month one. You know, people just are starting. For us, we just discover. For example, when I shipped products to UK, I had one freight forwarder who couldn't go through the customs. Another one did it easily. So it means that one company knows how to do it and another one doesn't. Then I receive customs to pay. Nobody understands why, because there is no customs on books. So who decided for that? We have now to look after, but it's time consuming. I called my chartered accountant and I said, okay, so show me, I need to feel it's easy. He told me, okay, it turns from easy to difficult now, everything I'm doing. So he was working for many businesses. So I noticed that we have to review everything. We had to wait because we didn't know if we would have a deal or no deal. We didn't know what kind of deal. So now we know what we have. My distributor to ship, when I sell books to the continent, if one customer order books to my distributor in UK, for them, it's very difficult now to ship the books in EU. They have to fill papers. So I told them now, if we have to sell in EU to EU customers, don't worry, I have someone in France. Now it will be shipped from France to EU, no longer from my UK distributor. So we will adjust. We will find solution. It's not a big deal, but we will see the result in many years. So it's just the beginning. So for sure, my shipper will ship maybe from Netherlands instead of UK. So okay, someone will lose, someone will win, and I'm sure that UK will have also to have to review their business. So they will do some business. They will have to find some new businesses to compensate. Yeah, it will. We will now face the consequences. It's just the beginning. Supply chain will be changed. I said. I said about big companies, you know, that Airbus is doing their wings in Cardiff. I said we need that the supply chain works and smoothly, because a plane without wings, it fly. I say, ça ne vole pas aussi bien. Un avion sans ailes. It's not flying as well without wings. So we need supply chain working smoothly, but if you have to go through UK now, it will be more difficult. So I'm pretty sure that people will avoid.
Thank you. Final words by Emily.
Thank you, Jean. First of all, what an informative and interesting session we've had. I think I speak for everyone when I say we wish it could have been longer. I know we overran, but I do wish we could have a longer discussion about this. So on behalf of the National Liberal Club and the European Forum at the National Liberal Club, we extend our thanks to Senator Cadic. You've done an amazing job here. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that's asked a question today. I know we didn't get to all of them, but thank you for participating. And finally, thank you to Alderman Tim McNally for your technical assistance. Benedict, Jean, and Trevor for organizing another fantastic event from the European Forum. Have a safe weekend, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.